Number 10, when we look up, we are victims of a massive optical illusion. For centuries, astronomers mapped the asteroid belt as a grinding, catastrophic wall of stone. We believed crossing it meant certain annihilation. The reality is far more unsettling. According to NASA data, the total mass of the asteroid belt is a mere 3% of our own moon. If Earth were a single grain of sand, navigating this belt would be like throwing a marble across the Pacific Ocean, praying it hits another dust mote. It is an ocean of abyssal emptiness. Number 9, we are equally blind to what lurks next door. Jupiter possesses a ring system that remained completely invisible to humanity for over 300 years. Constructed of material darker than coal, these rings absorb light rather than reflect it, reflecting less than 5% of the sunlight that hits them. Massive stealth structures drifting silently in our own neighborhood. If our eyes and our best instruments can be so easily deceived by empty space and invisible megastructures, what else is the universe hiding in plain sight? Number 8. Before we look further into the dark, we must shatter a comfortable human myth. We believe the physical laws governing our world are absolute. We trust the predictable spin of our planet, the steady rhythm of our seasons, the permanence of our gravity. This is a delusion. What we call absolute laws are merely temporary local weather conditions in a highly volatile cosmos. To understand how fragile we are, picture a heavy, polished bowling ball. Now, breathe on it, that microscopic temporary layer of mist fading on the surface, that is Earth's entire atmosphere. That is the only barrier protecting your DNA from the sterile vacuum of space. A single minor kinetic anomaly, a cosmic sneeze, can wipe it completely clean. If you want proof of this catastrophic instability, look to our next planetary neighbor. We assume planets spin like perfectly balanced tops, their axes roughly perpendicular to their orbits. But Uranus sits in our outer solar system tilted at a staggering 98 degrees. It does not spin, it rolls along its orbital path on its side, completely broken. Something in the primordial dark struck it. A planetary body of unfathomable mass slammed into it with enough kinetic energy to completely rewrite its reality. The impact was so violently incoherent that it ripped the planet's magnetic dynamo off-center, displacing its magnetic field by a third of its radius. Because of this metastable configuration, Uranus is subjected to a terrifying celestial torture. For 42 Earth years, one hemisphere is locked in an inescapable blinding day, then the rotation shifts. That same hemisphere plunges into an abyssal night lasting another 42 years. In that darkness, temperatures crash down toward absolute zero, plunging to minus 371 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 224 degrees Celsius. At those temperatures, the very concept of molecular movement begins to crumble. Uranus is a towering monument to cosmic indifference. It proves that the universe does not respect order. Your stable sunrise is not a cosmic rite. It is simply a temporary stroke of luck in a merciless vacuum built on random, catastrophic violence. Number 7. We expect the deepest reaches of our solar system to be a frozen graveyard. When you travel nearly 3 billion miles away from the warmth of the sun, celestial bodies are supposed to die. They should be entirely sterile. According to NASA's Voyager mission data, Neptune's largest moon, Triton, sits in this abyssal dark. It is trapped in a bizarre retrograde orbit, circling its host planet completely backward. This is an incoherent mechanical reality suggesting it was violently captured from the deep void eons ago. But the true horror of Triton is not its twisted trajectory, it is the fact that this moon is a geological zombie. Its surface temperature sits at a paralyzing negative 391 degrees Fahrenheit. To put that into perspective, absolute zero, the point where all molecular motion stops entirely, is 0 Kelvin, or negative 459.67 degrees Fahrenheit. Triton is hovering perilously close to the absolute limits of physics. At these temperatures, nitrogen freezes solid. It becomes harder than the granite of the Rocky Mountains. Chemistry, as we understand it, ceases to exist. This world should have been completely dead billions of years ago. Its core should be a frozen, silent tomb. Yet, it violently erupts. Voyager cameras captured active geysers shooting massive plumes of nitrogen gas and dark organic compounds. These eruptions blast 5 miles high into a desperately thin atmosphere. 5 miles, that is nearly the height of Mount Everest, driven by an unseen subterranean engine on a moon that has no right to be active. It is a dead world, twitching with catastrophic energy. To truly understand the hostility of this environment, we must calculate the exact moment of biological failure. Imagine a human being, a fragile biological glitch, stepping onto the smooth plains of Triton without a suit. The human nervous system is pathetically slow. It takes your brain approximately 13 milliseconds just to process a visual image. Nerve impulses travel at a maximum of 120 meters per second. If you were exposed to Triton's negative 391-degree surface, you would not even have the time to realize you were dying. Before that 13 millisecond signal could even travel from your retinas to your visual cortex, the extreme lower thermal limit of your biology would be breached. The water inside every single cell in your body would instantly flash freeze. It would turn into microscopic ice crystals. These crystals act like billions of molecular razor blades, rupturing your cell membranes simultaneously. Your entire biological structure would crumble into a frozen statue of shattered tissue. You would be physically destroyed faster than the electrical impulse of pain could travel up your spinal cord. You would die before you even knew you were cold. The universe is so merciless, it does not even grant you the luxury of feeling your own destruction. Number 6. We sent a probe 3 billion miles into the dark to photograph a corpse. Pluto is smaller than Earth's moon. By every law of thermodynamics, small bodies lose their internal heat rapidly. Pluto should have frozen solid eons ago, becoming a geologically dead relic covered in ancient craters. Instead, we found a planetary heartbeat. A study published in Nature confirmed that the massive crater-free plains of Sputnik Planitia are actually driven by a violent nitrogen ice convection engine. This is physically incoherent. The dwarf planet's surface is constantly churning, breaking apart into massive polygon-shaped cells and burying its own history under flowing glaciers of nitrogen. Finding this level of geological vigor on a frozen rock at the edge of the solar system is like discovering a steaming cup of coffee buried deep inside an Antarctic glacier for 4 billion years, still boiling. It completely defies the rules of planetary death. Something unseen is keeping it alive in the sterile dark. Number 5. If Pluto's hidden warmth is unsettling, Neptune's atmospheric violence is an absolute insult to our understanding of physics. According to NASA data, Neptune sits in the deep void, receiving less than 1/900th of the solar energy that reaches Earth. Because solar heating drives weather, its atmosphere should be virtually stagnant, drifting lazily in the dim cold. Yet, winds scream across its cloud tops at 1,200 miles per hour. That is faster than the speed of sound. It is faster than a fired bullet. To comprehend the catastrophic nature of this weather, we must look at the mathematics of destruction. We look to the mass energy equivalence formula, E equals mc squared. While these winds do not travel at the speed of light, E equals mc squared teaches us the terrifying amount of energy locked within physical mass. When you take an atmospheric storm system the size of the continental United States and accelerate billions of tons of freezing methane gas to supersonic speeds, the kinetic energy output reaches apocalyptic levels. If a storm of this magnitude were to sweep across Earth, it would not just blow buildings over. The sheer physical force would shred the Empire State Building and every steel structure on the planet into microscopic shrapnel in seconds. The atmospheric friction alone would be devastating, but the mystery deepens with the energy mismatch. Neptune radiates 2.6 times more energy into space than it receives from our Sunday. There is a monstrous invisible furnace operating deep within its core, driving this supersonic annihilation. We have absolutely no idea what is fueling it. It is a perfect display of cosmic indifference, a violent roaring engine churning in the absolute dark, destroying and recreating itself for absolutely no one. Number 4. We observe the gas giants of our solar system, completely ignoring the horrific violence they inflict on everything around them. Jupiter does not just hold its moons in a stable orbit, it strangles them. Take Io, a moon only slightly larger than our own. It should be a dead silent rock. Instead, it is a violently active hellscape. Jupiter's immense gravity constantly stretches and compresses Io's solid surface, pulling the crust up and down by hundreds of feet. This relentless mechanical torture generates thousands of gigawatts of internal heat through tidal friction. It is a slow, methodical, physical crushing, a form of planetary scale spaghettification. Number 3. Just next door lies Europa. Beneath its cracked shell of ice, it hides a massive ocean holding more liquid water than all of Earth's oceans combined. But do not mistake this for a sanctuary. The surface of this moon is submerged in a primordial radiation belt. According to research published in the journal Science, Jupiter's massive magnetic field captures and accelerates charged particles, bathing Europa in constant lethal energy. To understand the sheer hostility of this environment, we must calculate the exact mathematics of biological failure. If an unprotected human were to stand on the icy plains of Europa, they would immediately absorb a radiation dose exceeding 100 sieverts. At 100 sieverts, central nervous system syndrome is instantaneous. You do not simply burn, the radiation sweeps through your body, unzipping your DNA and denaturing the proteins in your brain in a fraction of a second. Your molecular structure is violently torn apart by particles traveling at 299,792,458 meters per second, the absolute speed limit of the universe. The destruction of your neural pathways happens at the speed of light. It is so fast that your brain cannot even formulate the electrical signal for pain. You are simply erased, reduced to broken atomic bonds on a frozen ocean in the dark. Number 2. We look at the stars and imagine a vast frontier waiting to be conquered. This is our most pathetic human delusion. Space is not a playground for our ambition, it is an inescapable quarantine zone. Consider the famous pale blue dot photograph taken by Voyager 1 from 3.7 billion miles away. Humanity has spent decades romanticizing this image. We call it a beautiful testament to our fragile, shared home. But from a clinical, mathematical perspective, it is horrifying proof of our absolute isolation. In that photograph, Earth is reduced to less than 0.12 pixels. To understand this scale, imagine if our massive sun were reduced to the size of a single white blood cell. At that scale, the Milky Way galaxy would still stretch across the entire continental United States. To look for human significance in that vastness is like searching for a single specific blood cell dropped into the abyssal depths of the Atlantic Ocean. You are not a chosen species with a grand cosmic destiny. Humanity is nothing more than a temporary biological glitch, a random thermodynamic fluctuation clinging to a microscopic dust mote. And we are completely trapped. The fundamental laws of physics are not tools for us to manipulate, they are the bars of our cage. The speed of light at exactly 299,792,458 meters per second is not just a metric, it is the absolute warden of causality. It guarantees that the distances between us and the nearest stars remain practically infinite. No matter how much our technology advances, NASA and our brightest minds cannot negotiate with this physical constant. It is a paradox of absolute helplessness. We have been granted just enough intelligence to measure the incomprehensible scale of the universe, but we are strictly bound by physical laws that prevent us from ever participating in it. We are stranded on this speck of rock, screaming into a sterile void that structurally prevents our voices from ever leaving our immediate darkening neighborhood. Number 1. We launched our greatest achievement into the abyss, and it is about to die. Voyager 1 crossed the boundary of our heliosphere, becoming the first human-made object to pierce the interstellar medium. According to NASA data, the environment outside our solar bubble is not a peaceful vacuum, it is fundamentally hostile. The plasma density is significantly higher than our models ever predicted, bathed in the chaotic primordial background noise of the galaxy. Right now, Voyager is drifting through this sterile darkness at 38,000 miles per hour, but its decaying plutonium heart is failing. By the year 2030, its instruments will lack the power to transmit. It will shut down permanently. It will cease to be an explorer. It will become a frozen tomb, a dead piece of shrapnel plunging into an endless, deafening silence. It will take 40,000 years for this silent corpse just to pass within 1.6 light years of another star. By the time it reaches anywhere of consequence, the merciless crawl of entropy guarantees that the civilization that built it will likely be long gone. We attached a golden record to its hull, a desperate collection of human music and greetings. We hurled this scrap of metal into the void, terrified of our own isolation, begging the cosmos to acknowledge our brief spark of consciousness. But as the probe's telemetry fades into the static, we are forced to accept the ultimate existential truth. There is no grand audience watching our struggles. No one is coming to save us, and no one is out there listening. The universe doesn't hate us, it simply doesn't know we exist. Thank you for watching and sticking till the end. We've got plenty more videos coming in the future. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them. See you in the next one.
And with that, I just want to say thank you. Your presence here is truly appreciated.
Subscribe now and join us for the next video. Stay curious.